Hey there, and welcome to the Invest In podcast. I'm your host, Zach Hoyt, real estate investor, RV park developer, and your guide to turning adventures into cash flow. Every Thursday, we dive into the strategies, tools, and mindsets that help you invest smarter and live freer. If you enjoy the show, tap subscribe, rate us, and share it with a friend. Now, let's get into today's episode. This episode is brought to you by RVParkConsultant.com. They are your go-to experts for purchasing, funding, designing, launching, and growing RV resorts and campgrounds. With over 35 years of hands-on industry experience, they offer smart park layouts, creative financing solutions, and operational optimization strategies to help you save money and boost your profits. Ready to turn your land into a thriving hospitality destination? Visit RVParkConsultant.com. Link is in the description below. Everyone to the Rolling in Profits RV Park Meetup. I'm Zach Hoyt, your Good Vibes host in the RV park investing land. And our mission here is building community in the RV park asset class while elevating everyone and achieving their dreams with ease. Because why not? Why do things have to be difficult? They don't. That's why we have this community here, and that's why we have an awesome presenter tonight and a great MC for you. And speaking of that, normally I would be your MC, but tonight it is my wife's birthday. And of course, that's a sacred thing, right, in our lives. And we are doing a better job this year of blocking out those sacred times first before business happens on top of it. So luckily, I have an amazing team that we work and do all these things together in the RV park community. So Rick Benson, please, you're going to love having him tonight, and everyone else helping out, Rhonda and Ralph and everyone behind the scenes making everything wonderful. So have a wonderful time tonight. Go make some $1 million connections, learn something that will gain you $1 million in your business, and you're going to have a good time. And hopefully you will be back next month where I will see you then. Right? Can I get a heck yeah? Heck yeah, everybody.
Heck yeah.
Buy some RV parks.
Oh, it's not working. Heck yeah. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, you're going to have to deal with me tonight. Zach, as he's mentioned, is dealing with his wife and his family, and we always promote family first here. So that's why we're all into this business, and why we all want to grow as a group, so we can spend more time with our family and build institutional wealth. So real quick, are you all ready to make a $1 million connection tonight? You never know who you're going to meet, who's going to be in the room. Are you going to make that connection, and you guys are going to start becoming put a group together and go out and find properties and move forward in life. So hopefully this happens. Hopefully it happens tonight. So we want to welcome everybody to Rolling in Profits RV Park Meetup. I'm your host tonight, Rick Benson. For those of you that haven't been here before, we're just looking to build a community in the RV park asset class and elevate everyone to achieve their goals and dreams with ease. So the main reason we do this is we all wanted to network, meet other people. So the whole structure here we have set up so people have time to network, interact with people, as well as learn, and we'll have that educational portion towards the end. So everybody, please jump on the chat. Put your name, your contact information, maybe what you want to do, what you're looking for. If you're looking to buy a park, put your buy box in there. Main thing, let's be really active in the chats. We'll have plenty of opportunity for people to raise hands if they have any questions or want to share with the group. We'll have plenty of opportunity. One thing I do want to mention is you may want to rename yourself. Like if you look at mine, I have my email address and phone number instead of just my name. If you go up to the box with your picture, there's 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Click on that, scroll down to rename, and then put your information in there. put your contact information, email address, phone number. Also put that in the chat. And the main thing we want to do here is all connect and build a relationship. Let's see. So I have an agenda here, so bear with me if I have to go check where I'm at. Let's see here. Oh, yes. So any big news or updates? Rhonda and I have news we shared last month, but we have an RV park under contract in Michigan. Little information on it. It is 60 acres and has a 30-acre lake, private lake. It's all on the property. It's got a store, mini golf, a little community center, arcade, a pool. It's got a swim beach. We're looking to bring in additional cabins to the park. We want to put in an inflatable water park. I always look at parks when I underwrite them, and I always like, what would I want to do as if I was going to go and have a vacation at the park? What would be the things I would look for? And I'm a water person. I like to have fun and climb around on things. Probably getting too old for that now, but I still, my 20-year-old mind and my 57-year-old body don't always align. But yeah, we put in a water park. We're going to have some food service in there, what they don't have now. They do not take any online reservations, so we're going to do some more marketing. But anyways, there's going to be more to come. We will be syndicating it, and we will be looking to bring in investors. We have a lot of interest already, pre-activity and interest. But if anybody wants to learn more, please reach out to Rhonda or myself. Our contact information will be in the chat. But I don't want to be a salesperson, so let's just move on. Other than I do have a couple other things. So please reach out with Zach and his group. He has the Invest Parks podcast that I think you guys, Ralph, are you guys on Spotify or? Yeah, so they're on Spotify. You can, Ralph, throw in your information in the chat so people can reach out and see that. And he also does if you're new to RV park investing and you want to learn how to hash out a deal or figure out how to underwrite it, Zach has a lot of information on his webpage, free resources. Plus, they do a workshop once a week. So if anybody wants to learn more about how to underwrite a park, or if you have a deal and you want to have some second eyes on it, reach out, and that would be a perfect opportunity for you guys to do that.
Hey, Rick, I have a question.
Yes, Rhonda.
Hey, I want to see if anybody else out there has any wins. Any wins, anything you want to celebrate?
That was on my agenda next.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Anybody have any wins that they want to celebrate and share with the team?
Just unmute yourself and jump in.
Yeah, just jump in. I don't see any hands. Either put your hand up or jump in.
I got into contract on my first RV park today.
Congratulations.
Woo! Thank you.
All right.
So excited.
Congratulations. Tell us
about it. Yeah.
So it's actually 3 properties in one purchase contract, 2 RV parks, and a piece of land that has cabins and tent sites.
Wow.
And
Nice.
it's in a beautiful mountain area on the western slope of Colorado.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Very excited.
Can't wait to see pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep us informed on how you do it.
Yeah.
It's going.
Awesome.
Any other wins?
I had a good conversation. I didn't get anything under contract, and it wasn't Colorado, but I had a couple good conversations, and I had to sign a do not disclose agreement for the location and the details. So that makes it feel a little special, But I'm hopeful, and I know something's going to work out very soon, and I'm looking forward to getting stuff on contract. That's motivational Colorado. I love Colorado. You didn't just get one on contract, you got a whole bushel.
Right.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Nancy.
Thank you.
And that's important to know. I mean, this is you have to build on experience. I remember when I first starting out, and you're calling brokers, and you're nervous how to talk to them. And the more conversations you have, the more comfortable you get, and you understand what questions they ask. Then we've talked to owners, we've been under contract, and those have fallen through at times. So it's all every time we get through one of these things, I feel like I've learned more. So that's very important. And that's one of the reasons we have this group. And one of the reasons I originally started as an attendee to this group. And I really enjoyed it because RV parks is such a niche, and a lot of people didn't understand. Usually when I talk to RV parks, they all think I'm talking mobile home parks. So, and they're like, no, it's not a mobile home park. It's completely different. It's just fun. This is where people go to have a good time and vacation, and they're happy. But yeah, just build off of that, all of your experience here. And any other wins? Okay, I don't see any hands or anybody. If you want to,
Absolutely, Rick. Learned
there
about
you
your
go.
call and came on. Gonna
Right.
network here and get to know you guys better. That's a win.
Oh, exactly. Just having you guys here. It's a win to have you guys with us. Uh, so do you have any parks now? Or you're looking at parks, or you're just getting started?
For myself, I've been in the multi-family space since kind of June last year, and then just looking into RV parks really the last month or so. And just got a partner out of the Texas area. We're partnering up and gonna go buy some assets here. Just put out a few offers today.
Nice. All right. Nice to have you aboard. Thanks a lot. All right, so we'll talk about just this meetup is real important for networking. So everybody, what we'll be doing, we'll have some breakout rooms coming up, and we'll have 3 to 4 people in the room. There's 7 minutes. We'll do this twice. So just go around the room. Please don't share your entire life story, so because the 7 minutes goes by pretty fast. So just let everybody get a chance to talk and meet and have a discussion. We'll jump back into the main room, and then we'll go back out to another breakout after that. But the main thing is just get to know people and network. And if for some reason you get bumped out of the room or something, Rhonda will be managing, and she'll get you back in the room. So just hang in there. Rhonda, do we have our rooms set up?
Yeah, we are ready to go.
Perfect.
I might move some people around though, because we may have too many people in a room. So just bear with me.
All right. So just so we stay on time, we will go and have our guest speaker. We have Donnell Stidhum, is a devoted retirement income strategist and an expert in self-directed IRAs and 401ks, guiding clients on their journey to financial freedom and a secure retirement. His unwavering passion for help individuals and family build generational wealth drives him to deliver exceptional service, tailored solutions, and a valuable education to every client he works with. So everybody, you'll have plenty of time to ask Donnell questions at the end. If you want to, as we go, drop them in the chat so we can keep track of them. But Donnell, I'm going to give you the floor.
Perfect. So I will be sharing my screen, but maybe I was thinking maybe I should set a few ground rules. It's a lot of information, but let me give you the answers to the test now. My name is Donnell. I own a company called Self-Directed Retirement Plans. Been in the space for a while. I create properly structured, properly designed, properly structured self-directed retirement plans, whether we're talking IRAs or 401ks. Why? Majority of the people I work with are investors just like yourself. whether they have properties, trying to attain properties, or trying to pool people together to be able to invest in asset classes. And it doesn't matter the asset class. The key is most don't realize you can use your retirement dollars to do it. And so what I'll walk you through is a breakdown as to how you can go about that and the different accounts that you can use to do it. But the moral of the story is when you have a question, I'm the guy to come to. Um, it doesn't matter whether we work together or not. My focus is on education. So I'm going to share with you today is a fair amount of information around IRAs and 401ks and what makes them so powerful. So here, let me share my screen. Also, I won't be monitoring the chat, but here's what I would ask. As I'm going through this and you feel like there's a question, don't keep it to yourself. Put a Q in front of it and type it in the chat. And I promise I will get to it at the end. And Rhonda, if you wouldn't mind helping me gather those questions, that would be great. But yeah, please don't wait till the end because you might forget. I may flood you with so much information. You go, I had a question, but I forgot it. When you get it, put it in the chat, put a Q in front of it, and I'll be happy to answer it once I'm done. So let me share my screen with you. During this presentation, there will be a fair amount of QR codes. There's one sitting in front of you now. And if you're on your mobile device, take a screenshot and save it in your photos, save it for later. If you're not, grab your phone, scan it, and save it for later. But there's several QR codes throughout this presentation, and they're all different. Some will send you to a YouTube channel. Some will allow you to be able to book time with me, but they are definitely all over the place. Again, my name is Donnell with Self-Directed Retirement Plans. And Rick, I appreciate that intro. It's almost like I wrote it, but I appreciate that. There's a lot that I can educate around. There's a lot that I talk about. I am often in REI groups or self-storage communities. This is my first RV park community. This is an asset class that I do not invest in, but I have been wanting to get in. And so I'm excited about being able to get in front of you. Again, most people look at me as a guy who helps people understand how and where to get their leverage. When you realize that retirement accounts, equity, life insurance, these are just areas of leverage. And if you can understand how they work, if you can understand how to put them to work, you can turn it into mailbox money pretty easily. And so my objective is just to educate around that. And we're going to focus our attention today on retirement accounts. Usually when people reach out to me, there's a reason. For instance, you guys are in this group, to me, probably not because you're in love with RV parks. My guess is probably because there's a mailbox money opportunity. Hey, I want to be able to fire my job. Hey, I'm headed into retirement, and my concern is that my retirement dollars will outlast me. So I'm looking for an asset class that I can put money behind so that I can sustain my lifestyle. Like whatever the reason are, 9 times out of 10, there's a goal. And my job is to identify that goal and then peel back the layers to understand what is the structure required for you to hit it. So whether that's you're looking to be able to borrow and leverage dollars to be able to pay off debt, you're looking to be able to fire your job, you're looking to be able to looking for tax advantage growth. Maybe it's just simply mailbox money, whatever it is. I designed properly structured retirement accounts to be able to do so. And why is this even a thing? Because when you hear IRA, 401k, 403b, TSP, government 457 plans, maybe you have one, maybe you know someone who does, or maybe you don't even know what these things are. But let me be clear. I think I'm in a room of investors. I think I'm in a room of people who want to engage other investors. If I could show you how to access $45 trillion, would you be okay with that? If I could show you how to educate someone around being able to access $45 trillion, would that be something you're interested in? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Most of those dollars, over 50% of that 45 trillion, Fidelity and Vanguard have in their possession. So if any of you work with Vanguard, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, ask yourself, can you invest in RV parks using the money that's sitting in these accounts? And if not, why? Why is it that you're not able to? And it's very simple. The reason most people who have their retirement dollars tied up in Fidelity or Vanguard can't invest in non-traditional investments like private equity or syndications is simply because Fidelity doesn't. If Fidelity invested in it, you would be able to invest in it. If Vanguard invested in it, you would be able to invest in it. So it's not that your retirement account isn't capable. It's because where your retirement dollars are sitting, you're not allowed to. So my question I want you to answer is, how much control do you honestly have over your retirement dollars? And you may be going, but Donnell, I don't have a retirement account. I go back to you're an investor, and I'm confident you live in a neighborhood. When you walk outside your front door and you look around the people in your neighborhood, they are all going to these 40-hour-a-week jobs, putting money in these retirement accounts and assuming they'll have enough to be able to retire at some point. What if you could assist them in understanding, you know what? Right now, because your money is sitting here or because your money is sitting here, depending on who's sitting in that White House, your retirement account may take a dip or not. You have zero control. What if you could take those funds, put them in a position where you could have more control, and it doesn't matter who's sitting in the seat in the White House. It doesn't matter if someone trips and falls in the stock market because you're not subject to be potentially losing your nest egg. So again, it's about control. How much control do you have today? And what would it look like if you had more? Again, my name is Donnell. I'm a retirement consultant. I've been in this space for probably well over 15 years. By trade, I was talking to a gentleman earlier. I'm really just an engineer. I'm a guy that, as an engineer, I like to break things, put them back together. And when I break them and I put them back together, I understand how they work. And once I understand how they work, I think my God-given gift is to educate. My God-given gift is to be able to educate someone on something that's non-traditional. And that's kind of how I fell into this space. I thought I was going to be a real estate investor for the rest of my life. I ended up falling into finance. And you can find us very, very easily. I think it's called Googleable, meaning if you put in self-directed 401k into your favorite search bar, you'll find us. My partner, Rick Pentecoski, and he's been doing this for well over 20 years. I've been doing it for about 15. And our job, our goal is to create self-directed retirement accounts so you can invest in what you want. And I was talking earlier, I think it was Nancy, you may have heard self-directed before. But do you really truly understand what self-directed means? Because self-directed means something different depending on who you're with. And what it means for me, it means control. It means your ability to invest in what you want, when you want, without restriction. Let me say it again. When you're self-directed, you're able to invest in what you want, when you want, without restriction. Some might have a self-directed retirement account and they get to pick between whatever the mutual funds, stocks and bonds Fidelity offers, or some may have a self-directed retirement account and you can invest in what you want, but you have to get permission from the custodian before you can do it. Anyone ever heard of equity trust or IRA services or directed IRA? My point is, none of that is required. If you do this right, you can invest in what you want. And it doesn't matter who you are. Maybe you don't have a retirement account, but again, you are an investor, which means you need other investors. What if you could educate those other investors on how to access their retirement dollars to invest with you? If you're an entrepreneur and you don't have a retirement account linked, why not? Do you understand the power of what would happen if you had it? My point is, it doesn't matter who you are, real estate investor, entrepreneur, maybe you have a 40-hour-a-week job and you're trying to figure out how you can put more of your money to work for you. It does not matter. I can assist. And again, if you head over to the sdretirementplans.com, you can book some time. And ultimately, at least my goal anyway, is mailbox money. It's about how to passively generate income. And I mean income that I can spend, income that I can live off. And what if you could move your retirement dollars out of the market and move them into an asset class that's a bit more reliable, like what we're talking about today? So the objective is mailbox money. Can we create it? Well, I know this group, I would assume, is very familiar with what a syndication looks like. But if we're talking about investing with retirement dollars, how does this process, how is this process impacted, or what is that process for you to be able to invest your retirement dollars into a syndication? So it's a group of like-minded individuals pooling their funds together, driving it through a specific entity to be able to invest in whatever the asset class might be, like an RV park, and then those returns ends up going back to those like-minded individuals. Well, when you involve a self-directed retirement account, that like-minded individual is your retirement account. Your IRA, your 401k can invest, be an investor, be an individual investor in one of these syndications. And let's be clear, if you're using your retirement dollars, you are not doing the investing. Your retirement account is doing the investing. You just happen to be acting on behalf. You're the person, you're the human that's actually investing on behalf of the retirement account, but the investment itself is wrapped inside of your 401k or wrapped inside of your IRA, which makes it, I'll call it tax advantaged. It could be tax free or maybe tax deferred. It just kind of depends. But the moral of the story is because it's your retirement account doing the investing, it's altogether that much better. And we've been talking a lot about RV parks, but when I say you can invest in what you want when you want, this is a short list. This is not everything, meaning it's not just land, REITs, subject to self-storage facilities, limited partnerships, private placements. How about gold? How about silver? How about Bitcoin? You want to invest in it, you can. And I was sharing with Nancy earlier, it would be much easier for me to tell you what you cannot invest in versus what you can, because this is not an exhausted list. This is a very short list. Matter of fact, I don't think I can imagine the amount of things that would be able to invest in using your retirement dollars. And let's be clear, that's in addition to what you're used to investing in, like mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. So you have the ability to keep your money in mutual funds, stocks, and bonds, liquidate what you want, move it into your self-directed retirement account, invest in a non-traditional investment like RV parks, make a return. As that return comes back, you can put it back into the market if you would like. This is full control over your retirement dollars to invest in what you want. But I've been talking about a retirement account. But let's get specific. There are IRAs and there are 401ks. You can use a self-directed IRA. You can use a self-directed 401k. Those are the two self-directed retirement accounts that's possible. And both of those accounts can have Roth or traditional dollars. So Roth IRA, Roth 401k, traditional IRA, traditional 401k, all can be self-directed. Usually when I get a call, it's because someone has learned that they can use a self-directed IRA to invest. Most have no idea that a 401k is even possible. So I want to break down for you just high level, what are the rules? And hopefully what you will see out of these rules is what makes sense for you. Does an IRA make sense for you, or does a 401k make sense for you? And these rules are drastically different. So first off, as it relates to a self-directed IRA, if you've ever heard of one, a self-directed IRA that will allow you to buy gold, silver, land, REITs, subject tos, syndications, private equities, you name it. The structure looks like this. We would move the funds from the custodian that they're with, Equity Trust, IRA Services, Fidelity, Vanguard, Edward Jones, and we would move them to a new custodian, and I would create a brand new self-directed IRA linked to that new custodian. Well, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. That's not enough for you to be able to invest in what you want. What happens is your IRA has to purchase an LLC, meaning the LLC has to live inside of the IRA. That's the only way you can have full checkbook control over these retirement dollars to be able to invest in what you want. So those of you who understand self-directed IRAs, does your structure look like this? If it doesn't, you can't invest in what you want. If it doesn't, you can't buy real estate if you wanted to. The structure has to look like this. And as it relates to a 401k, notice the structure looks a little bit different. A 401k is a trust. A 401k has its own EIN number. And so we would move those funds from that previous employer plan or that old custodian into the new self-directed 401k because 401ks have their own EIN numbers, because 401ks are structured as a trust. You don't need some additional, I'll call it, asset inside of the retirement account to be able to invest. So you would simply use the EIN number of the 401k, open up a checking account, You have checkbook control over your retirement dollars. Like, this is scary, scary easy. If you look at these two though, and I'm not asking you to be able to read it. Some of you might be on your phone, but just look at the structure of the two: self-directed IRA, self-directed 401k. Do you notice any difference? Do you notice a difference between the two? Well, if you just look at the two examples, it's steps. One has 4 steps, one has 3. What is the difference between these two different asset classes? Well, one, a self-directed IRA is a glorified savings account, and it requires a custodian to be propped up in order for you to have control over those dollars to invest. So it requires a custodian, whereas a 401k does not require a custodian. So what is a custodian? A custodian is just a fancy word for a bank. So an IRA requires a bank. A 401k does not require one. As you're thinking about this, what does a bank offer you? What is a bank's role in this process if you don't necessarily need one for a 401k? Which begs the question, what's the difference between an IRA or 401k as it relates to a custodian? Well, again, an IRA custodian is required. For a 401k, a 401k is a trust. It is not required. But again, what exactly is what exactly is a custodian? It's pretty simple. There are 2 different types of banks. There are active banks and there are passive banks. We all know what an active bank is. That's a Bank of America, that's a Morgan Stanley, that's a Fidelity, that's an Edward Jones. These are banks that you can invest with them, but you can only invest in what they have to offer. If they offer mutual fund stocks and bonds, you can invest in mutual fund stocks and bonds. But if they don't offer it, you cannot invest in it. They're involved in your decisions. There may be delays, meaning you may have to have them review what it is you're wanting to invest in. The other type of bank is a passive bank, passive custodian. And just so we're clear, any active custodian can be a passive custodian if they choose to. So the question is, if you're wanting to invest using your retirement account, which is the most optimal use of a custodian to be able to do so? Well, a passive custodian, no delays, no involvement in your decision making, and they can't tell you what you can or cannot invest in. So obviously a passive custodian is what you would want. But again, as we talk about the difference between an IRA and a 401k, one requires an active custodian. One does not require an active custodian, which allows you to put in place a passive custodian. Make sense? And again, please, if I know I move fast, if there's any questions you have, please put those questions in the chat, put a Q in front of them so we can identify them, and I'll be happy to answer. So again, going back to the 401k, notice the 401k does not involve a custodian. There's not a custodian in this process required in order for you to have checkbook control over your retirement account. Then what is required? If a custodian is not required, then what is required? Well, what's required is a sponsor. And think about it. Whether we're talking about a 401k, a 403b, a TSP, a government 457 plan, a SEP IRA, these are all similar accounts. It just function under a different IRS code. So 401ks require a business in order to have one. I'm on a Zoom with about 40 entrepreneurs. I'd have to believe all of you in some way, shape, or form have a business. And as long as you have a business with no full-time employees, that is sufficient enough for you to have your own 401k. So if you were sitting here going, I don't have one, and I don't know that I can have one, the requirement is this: you need a business. That business can be any sole proprietorship. You do Uber on the weekends, you have an MLM, that's sufficient enough for you to have your own 401k. You're a 1099 contractor, that's enough for you to have your own 401k. You have any LLC, any S Corp, any C Corp capable of producing income, that's enough for you to have your own 401k. And let's be clear. Notice I didn't mention how much money your LLC makes or how much money you made as a 1099 employee. The amount of money doesn't matter. Are you capable of producing income? Yes or no? The second question is, do you have any full-time employees? I didn't say contractors. Do you have any full-time employees? I didn't say part-time employees. If you have a business, and you have no full-time employees, that is enough for you to have your own 401k. So again, IRAs require a custodian, 401ks do not. 401ks do require a sponsor. Any LLC, any S Corp, any C Corp, any 1099 income. The next thing I want to highlight is contribution limits. Contributions for an IRA versus a 401k. And as I mentioned, you'll run across many QR codes. Feel free to, again, you can do a screenshot and then save it to your photos, and you can hit it later. But you can also take a picture of it using your mobile device if you're looking at this on something different to be able to book time. So let's talk about contributions. This one bothers me because if I were to ask any of you, what is the number one retirement account in this country? Most of you would say a Roth IRA. True or false? And it's because Roth IRAs are great for custodians. Roth IRAs are individual retirement accounts, they're glorified savings accounts, and Roth IRAs make banks a lot of money. A 401k, so if we're looking at the contribution of an IRA, IRA contribution limits are $7,500 and $8,600 per year. That's up from last year, which is about $1,000 and $1,100. Oh, no, sorry, about $500 and about $600 from last year. So $7,000 to $8,000 last year, $7,500 to $8,600 this year. Awesome. Raise your hand if you feel like you can retire when you want to retire by putting away $7,500 a year. It's kind of hard. Versus a 401k. And again, I should share with you what it requires to have a 401k. A 401k, you're able to put away, if you're under the age of 50, about $72,000 per year. If you're around the age of 60 to 63, that's what, about 80, was that 81? About $81,500 a year you're able to put away if you're between the ages of 60 and 63. My point is contribution limits alone allow you to put yourself in a position to where you can dictate what your lifestyle is going to look like because you have the ability to put more away in an asset class that allows you to be able to invest in what you want, which is better. Loans. A lot of us who have retirement accounts don't realize this is an asset that's accessible to you when you want. Meaning, let's say you have a credit card bill that you want to pay off. Did you know you can borrow your own retirement dollars to be able to do so? Well, it depends on which type of account you have. An IRA, no loans are available. But with a 401k, you are able to take a personal loan from your 401k. Some of you may realize this or know this because you may have an employer's 401k and you may have borrowed from it. But let's talk about some of the rules associated with that. When you borrowed from your company's retirement account, did you know the maximum loan you could take was 50% of what's in your retirement account? So if you've got 100,000, the max you can take is 50,000, 50%. And it's up to a total of 50,000. So if you have 300,000 in your retirement account, you can't take a $150,000 loan, but you can take a max of 50. Did you know that you set the rules on this loan? Meaning you could borrow $50,000 from yourself, charge yourself 4%, take that $50,000 you just borrowed from yourself, invest with Rick and Rhonda, make double digits on that $50,000. So if you invest at charging yourself 5%, let's just say, but Rick and Rhonda gives you a return of 20%, you just made 15% return on a dollar amount that didn't come out of your personal pocket. So it's money making money that you didn't have any, I'll call it risk in. You set the terms on the amount that you borrow. You set the payback period. Now, there are some rules that you have to follow, but my point is you have full control to be able to dictate what this loan looks like. Most people don't realize this is even possible. So we've covered a lot of things. Probably the most important item on this list in the differences between an IRA or 401k, especially for this group, is this little thing called UBIT. Again, I'm not monitoring the chat because I can't see it at the moment, but I would love to know if anyone knows what UBIT is. And again, if you are in this asset class, UBIT is something you want to be aware of. Because if you're looking for investors to be able to work with you and they're wanting to use their retirement dollars, UBIT is quite impactful. UBIT stands for Unrelated Business Income Tax. This is a tax that if you're wanting to use your retirement dollars to invest, let me give you an example. Let's say you are wanting to purchase an RV park and you have $100,000 in your retirement account to do it. Well, the RV park purchase price is $200,000. So you're $100,000 short. Did you know your retirement account can walk into a bank and get a loan from a bank? And when your retirement account walks into a bank to borrow money from that bank cannot look at your social. That bank cannot look at they can't have your credit, your social security number. It doesn't matter your credit score. It doesn't matter how many bankruptcies you have. The bank is lending to your retirement account based off the strength of the opportunity. Your bank is allowed to do what's called or receive what's called a non-recourse loan, meaning a bank has no recourse to come after you. They can only lend against the opportunity. So my point is, depending on which retirement account you use, if you are looking to borrow money from a bank to be able to complete the process, you need to watch out for UBIT, because UBIT says if you use borrowed funds, you may be taxed at a 35 to 37% tax rate on your profits. And again, what's the number one retirement account people talk about using when it comes to investing? They always talk about the Roth IRA. Well, in doing so, they're setting up these Roth IRA users for a 37% tax hike. Let me give you an example. Going back to that 100,000, let's say you have a self-directed Roth IRA. And let's be clear. If it's a Roth IRA, that means any profit you make is tax-free. So you've got a self-directed Roth IRA. It has 100,000 in it. You walk into a non-recourse lender, you borrow 100,000. You now have your $200,000 and you're going to go buy this RV park, this business. It doesn't matter what you're buying. It kind of matters. But anyway, let's say you're buying a business. Well, you buy that business, you run that business, and eventually you sell that business to Rick and Rhonda for $300,000. And they're eager to do it because they want to put a lazy river in the back, so they know they're going to make more on it anyway. So you sell that. You bought the property for $200,000. You sell the property for $100,000. You're excited. Your 401k, or sorry, your Roth IRA makes $100,000 profit. Well, UBIT comes along and says, thank you. Because 50% of the purchase price was borrowed, we are now going to tax 50% of your profits at that 37%. And I know what you might be thinking, or at least you should be thinking, wait a minute, I was told that if I had a Roth IRA, I'm making tax-free profit. There is no tax implication. And that's true, with the exception of UBIT. UBIT is a tax that's meant to level the playing field between people who can't use retirement dollars versus people who can. But what if you did this exact same example, this exact same opportunity in a traditional self-directed 401k, meaning you're not even making tax-free profit. It's a traditional 401k, this exact same opportunity. What happens? UBIT does not apply to 401ks. So just having a 401k is like getting a 35 to 37% increase in profits for just having it. And we can get into why that's the case. But the moral of the story is, in a situation where your IRA or your retirement account wants to purchase a business inside of the retirement account and you're using leveraged dollars, UBIT does not apply. Unrelated business income tax does not apply. So commingling funds is what I want to move to next. Again, IRA, individual retirement account. 401k is a trust. Anyone know about trust? Anyone know whether you can have a trust with your family? Of course you can. So if an IRA is an individual retirement account, Rhonda can have one, Rick can have one, which means their IRA, they can invest in what they want, but they're investing separately. But let's peel that back a little bit further. If Rhonda has an IRA and Rick has an IRA, they each have IRA fees. They each have custodial fees because they're required to have an active custodian in order to have an IRA. So they're paying double the cost of just having an IRA. But with a 401k, it's a trust. A trust allows you to commingle funds. A trust can have multiple participants. So both Rhonda and Rick can actually put all of their retirement accounts in one 401k. What does that do? Well, we just eliminated custodial fees times two. And in addition, because we have a much larger pool, we don't necessarily need a bank to borrow money to be able to continue an investment because we now have a much larger pool. We can now we can now swim in much larger pools with much bigger fish because we have more of an asset to be able to pull from. Bottom line is it's instantly larger dollar amount that's able to be co-invested. Last one, prohibited transactions. UBIT to me is the most important. Prohibited transactions can destroy your retirement account if you don't understand them. Prohibited transactions, simply stated, is this. There are some rules that you have to be aware of. And as long as you're aware of these rules, and they're pretty simple rules, you'll be just fine. The first one is, as I mentioned earlier, there's only three things you cannot use your retirement dollars for. You cannot buy life insurance using your retirement dollars. You cannot buy S's and Sam S Corp shares. And you cannot buy collectibles. But please don't confuse collectibles with precious metals. Collectibles are like antique cars and paintings, or if you trade coins. But you can absolutely buy gold, buy silver. So again, collectibles, S Corp shares, and life insurance are only three things you cannot buy. You remember that, you're fine. And then the second one is this. There are certain people that cannot be involved with your retirement account before you actually retire. So let me give you an example. Let's say you've got a 401k and you want to buy a rental property across the street from your house and put your kids in it. Because that makes sense, right? If I put my kids in the house, I trust them. They're going to pay me rent and they're going to pay that rent right back to my 401k. The money is staying in our system. Well, notice in this straight line of individuals, there's your grandparents, your parents, your kids, your grandkids, and any of their spouses to include your own. They are disqualified persons. So if you put your kid in that rental property and they're paying rent back to your 401k, that's a prohibited transaction. That would disqualify your retirement account. But pay less attention as to who the disqualified persons are because it's a short list. Pay attention to who I didn't mention. What if you put your brother's kids in that property and then your brother put your kids in a property? So my point is, as long as you pay attention to these two rules, you'll be fine. The disqualified person, a lot of people harp on the disqualified person's rule, but the truth is, it didn't mention me. And I doubt you're related to Rhonda or Rick, so there's an opportunity for you to invest outside of this list to be able to still accomplish your goal. So we've covered a lot. And again, this is a short list of some of the rules associated with having a self-directed retirement account. I share this with you because understanding why and the type of account that you're wanting to invest in will go a long way with you being able to make a decision. And here's the answer to the test again. You don't have to remember this list. You don't have to remember which one is best for you. All you have to remember is your goal is to be able to make that mailbox money and who to talk to get it. So if your goal is for passive income and you have retirement dollars at your disposal, are your retirement dollars currently in a position for you to be able to invest in what you want? If the answer is no, you've got some action to take. Go to sdretirementplans.com, book some time on my calendar. Let's discuss your personal situation. And during that consultation, what will end up happening is we'll just kind of talk through where you are currently. What is your current financial situation? We will break down what product is best for you. Sometimes an IRA is the best answer. Sometimes it is. But in most cases, I'm going to focus on trying to make sure you are making the best decision for your specific goal setup. And I will walk you through it step by step. If you haven't noticed, I focus heavy on education. You're not investing in me. I want the information I want you to be armed with the proper information to be able to invest in what you want, to be able to make the right decision. And I do that just like this. As I mentioned, there's a lot that we could talk about, but today was just about self-directed IRAs and 401ks. But if you happen to move over to our YouTube channel, you will find that I talk about a lot of stuff. And that is it. Any questions for me?
And we had David Henley asked a question. I answered it because I'm doing it, so I know. He asked, is it possible to transform an established IRA to a 401k? And we are moving our traditional IRAs to 401ks at
Yep.
the moment.
It's called a qualified to qualified transfer. Any qualified account can move to another qualified account. Now, when you talk about Roth versus traditional dollars, there's some rules there, but the moral of the story is any IRA, 401k, 403b, TSP, government 457 plan, SEP IRA can move interchangeably between the other. So yes, you absolutely can.
Yeah, well, we didn't have a lot of questions in the chat. Yoel had a comment, and I want to make sure that she is clear. She said that she understands that, I believe it's I don't know if she's talking about the 401k or the IRA is better if it's a Roth IRA.
So if you're saying if you currently have a Roth IRA, the interesting piece about Roth is Roth has to remain in the form that it's in. So if you currently have a Roth IRA and you're wanting to be able to self-direct it, the only option is a self-directed Roth IRA. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just understanding the rules. So again, Roth has to remain in the form that it's in. But here's the weird part. And I think they're in the process of getting this changed. We're just not there yet because they're tied up with other things. But the moral of the story is if you have a Roth 401k, you can move it into a Roth IRA. But if you have a Roth IRA, it cannot go to a Roth 401k. That's the weird part. You can go from a traditional 401k to a Roth 401k back to a Roth IRA. So again, my point is there's some interchangeable things that can happen, but the key thing to remember is the dollar has to remain in the form that it's in if it hasn't been converted yet. So.
Okay, so we're going to go back to David. He had another question with regard to transitioning from an IRA to 401k. He said, does that include the Roth SD IRA?
Yeah. So this is normally a slide in this presentation, but I'll pull it out simply for length. So let me break down the difference between Roth and traditional real quick. Because people get very confused here. Roth is just a condition of the dollar. That's it. So you can have a Roth IRA. People don't say this, but you can have a Roth 403b. You can have a Roth TSP. You can have Roth dollars live inside of your retirement account. It's just a condition of the dollar. And you get to decide when that dollar becomes Roth. So if you have a traditional retirement account and you want those dollars to be Roth, you get to decide when those dollars are Roth. And when you make that decision, they are actually Roth at that moment. And if you want, I can give you an example. I don't know how you're doing on time, but bottom line is you get to decide when the Roth dollar becomes Roth. And so you can have that in an IRA, you can have that in a 401k, you get to choose.
We have about 15 minutes left. So if you wanted to quickly explain that, if anybody else is interested as well.
Sure. So Roth versus traditional. So obviously the difference between Roth and traditional is the timing of the tax advantage. Traditional means I'm paying taxes now. I'm sorry, traditional means I'm paying taxes when I withdraw the funds. Roth is saying I'm paying the taxes now. Well, most people don't realize it's a decision. So let me give you an example. Let's say, what is it, January 15th. I've got $100,000 in my self-directed retirement account, whether it's an IRA or 401k, doesn't matter. I have $100,000. And I just learned that there's an opportunity to turn my 100,000 to grow my 100,000 by 20%. There's an opportunity to make a 20% profit if I was to invest it in this community. Well, $100,000 being converted to Roth seems like a pretty big tax burden. I can choose to convert it all or I cannot. But because I know this opportunity is going to bring me 20+%, I don't care because the profit that I'm going to make is well worth the taxes that I'll pay on that 100,000. So guess what? On January 15th, I have now decided that 100,000 is Roth. So when I invest this 100,000 into Rhonda's opportunity and it started growing over time, I'm now growing Roth profit starting on January 15th. But notice, I haven't paid any taxes. That $100,000 makes me 20%. 20% of 100,000 is 20 grand. So by December 31st, I have 120,000 sitting in my retirement account. Well, when I go to file my taxes, I'm going to do a 1099-R for the 100,000 that I converted back in January. But the 20,000 I have in profit stays Roth profit. I do nothing with that. So first step is I decide. Second step is on December 31st, I 1099-R myself for the amount I converted. The third step is my account has to be in place for 5 years. And then the final step is once I hit 59 and a half on midnight of my 59 and a half birthday, if I made 20% profit every year from January 15th of 2026 till 2031, when I finally became 59 and a half, that 20% compounded is all Roth profit. And once I hit 59 and a half, it all becomes Roth profit. It all becomes tax-free profit, and I can now spend it in a tax-free fashion. But notice, it started with a decision. I didn't have to ask my advisor. I didn't have to fill out a form. I just simply decided that on today, my money is Roth. What makes it the process cemented is on December 31st when I 1099-R myself. But notice, between January and December, however much money I make, that is tax-free growth. So most people don't realize that Roth is really, really simple. But I think our banks have kind of convinced us that somehow it's some magic process that it's not.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? I don't have any in the chat. So if you have any, just pop your hand up and go for it.
Rhonda, I think Doug had a question. It was real early in the.
Oh, did I miss that? Okay,
Is
go
it
for it.
possible without the 10% fee being under age of withdrawal?
10% penalty. So if we're talking about taking withdrawals from a retirement account, there is no way around that 10% penalty. But what I would suggest is that tells me that if you're young enough, we should be looking at an asset class that rides alongside of your retirement account. So that way you can take withdrawals at any point out of that asset. And then once you hit 59 and a half, you transition to the one that you won't get the 10% penalty out of. So there is a strategy around this as well. So, but there's no way around that 10% penalty if you're under the age of 59 and you're wanting to use your retirement dollars as income.
Hey, Donnell, this is Doug. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, sorry, we're driving. You answered kind of what I was asking through explaining everything else. And currently I have a 401 with my employer.
Yep.
And then my wife has a IRA, a traditional IRA. And just real quick, because I pretty much plan on contacting you at some other point. From what I'm understanding, we could roll those over to self-directed, whether it's separately IRA and 401 or together, and use that money to borrow and then use to, personally, we're looking to develop our RV park further along. And we were just kind of wondering if that's a possibility.
100%.
Okay. That's all the time I want to take up from everybody. We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right. Any last questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Donnell,
Yes.
this presentation was so informative, and how, Rhonda, do we have access to this video, a recording of this, or Donnell, we contact you? I have clients, potential clients. Do you show them this presentation? Sometimes you don't know the questions to ask.
Yeah,
You pointed out it was a very, very well done presentation. And how do you translate it? Where do we go from here? Put it this way.
No problem.
Where do we go from here?
First off, I truly appreciate the feedback, because one, this presentation is normally 90 minutes. And so I was struggling to figure out what information to use and what not. So I really do thank you for There's a lot that I didn't cover. So let me do a little bit more about me. I fly all over. So if you have a group in your special city that you want me to get in front of, we can do this live. Not a problem. I do Zoom presentations all the time as well. It doesn't matter the size of the group. It could be a weekend and it's 5 people, or it could be a room and it's 350. It does not matter. I'm an asset to you. So if you want me to get in front of your people, that is easy to do. It's book time on my calendar and we do it. Whether that's in person or on Zoom, I can go either way. There are many versions of this presentation. It can be hey, I'm just trying to help my client base understand where the opportunities are, so we can drill it down even further. Or it's, you know what, let's take the time, let's walk through and let's go into detail as to how this works. Because like I mentioned, this is about a 90-minute presentation normally, so we can do that too. You have access to my contact information. You want me to sit down, and even if you want me to just spend time with you, I can do that as well. However you want to do it.
I thank you very much. Actually, 90 minutes would have been like drinking from a fire hydrant.
Normally,
So
the first
this is,
slide is a young girl getting blasted in the face with a fire
Yeah.
hydrant. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely
So-
correct.
so this was just enough to
Perfect. Thank you
to
for that.
to be able to ask the right questions to you.
Yes.
So yes, we'll be in touch for sure.
I have to say, though, if you're going to visit Yoel, you're going to have to visit her at her park in Alaska. So
did someone
pick
say
your
there's a
season.
reason for me to go to? I moved to
There you
Arizona
go.
because I don't
There
have
you
to
go.
scrape sunshine off my windshield. I have no problem visiting Alaska, though. That's not a problem.
All right, thanks. I think we're probably good. Any last minute questions? So wow, yeah. How many ways did you get value out of that? I just so everybody knows, Ron and I are working with Donnell right now with putting in the self-directed IRA for us. And I thought he covered it pretty well when we talked to him, and then he gave his presentation, and I learned so much. So yes, hopefully this gave value to everybody. Everybody just throw in the chat what kind of value you got out of that. I will be copying and pasting the chat into a Google Docs document. So everybody make sure you put all your contact information in there, email addresses, phone numbers, and just a couple of minutes, I will put the link in the chat for the Google Docs, and you'll have everybody's contact information. But yeah, that was a great presentation. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm really surprised at how much I learned just in your short version. So
Just a quick question again. I'm sorry. I just asking again, Rhonda and Rick, will this recording, will we be able to hear it again or not?
yeah, we should. Zach always puts his recordings on his page, and we could put it on our page too. So we
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Here,
Yep.
I will also do this. There's a video that is, I think it's maybe 11 minutes that really kind of breaks down the differences between. I did it like 5, 6 years ago, a long time ago, but it's a video that I get a lot of feedback around because it really tells the story around why an IRA versus a 401k. I'm going to put that in the chat as well, so you guys can have that.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so informative. And anybody that has more questions, reach out to Nanel. He's got his information in there. This is what he does for a living. He's a wealth of knowledge, not only on IRAs and self-directed IRAs and 401ks, but other asset classes, other ways to invest. Yeah, pick his brain. That's what he's there for. So everybody, one of the things, drop in the chat anything you would like to, any topics you may want to have in the future, any discussions, any type of guest speakers you may want, so we can use that and try to find something that is a good fit for the group. I know next month we're going to have an expert in both SBA loans and USDA loans. He presented at the OHI conference in Kentucky, and he's going to be on our next month. We'll have him as a guest speaker. Let's see, what am I missing here? I think.
I have a quick question for Donnell. How many people are super surprised that they can now have access to this lump of money that's been just sitting there for so long? What kind of reactions do you get from people?
So if I'm in a room of 100 people, there's probably 70 of them that go, wait a minute, what? Like, and sometimes people get angry because it's like, I've been lied to, right?
Thank you.
I've been, someone was trying to convince me that in order for me to be able to retire, I had to stick with these mutual funds, stocks, bonds, and target date funds. Like, I feel like I've been taken advantage of. So yeah. And one other thing real quick, there's this little thing. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's Executive Order 14330. Our president has introduced Executive Order 14330, which says they are now opening up your company's retirement account to be able to invest in non-traditional investments. It's being pushed as though this is something special and new. It's not special or new, but it's being pushed that way. So what they're saying is now your company's retirement account can invest in syndications. But let's peel that back. What they're saying is the account that's currently with Fidelity will now be open to syndications. Peel it back further. Is Fidelity going to start doing syndications? No. Fidelity is going to partner with someone who does. Are they going to do it for free? No. So that means not only are you paying fees to Fidelity, you will now be paying fees to whoever is running the syndication and be making a profit. So it's going to double the fee structure. But not realizing you could do that right now.
Thank you for bringing this to everybody's attention. And I'm sure you're going to do a more of a deep dive and a more of a variety of options, whereas whatever, 14330 is going to give you is probably going to be whatever they want, their group of investments. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you, everybody. This has been a great meetup. I just threw in the Google Docs link into the chat, so I'll give you a couple minutes to grab that. I should have provided access for everybody. I usually forget and it's restricted, but I thought I had this time. Anybody have any quick comments or questions or anything they want to talk about? Don't hear anything. So I want to thank you all. I appreciate you guys working with me as the guest host today. Trust me, Zach's much more charismatic than I am. But we got through there. Thank you, my co-host, to Rhonda, and Ralph. Thank you for helping us out.
Well, from my perspective, you were the best I've ever seen. So
there you go. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to channel my inner Zach and give everybody a heck yeah. I don't know if you can see this or not, but thank you all, and have a great rest of your evening. Thank you, everybody.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Invest In podcast. I hope you picked up insights to fuel your investing journey. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave a rating and review. It helps more adventurers like you find us. For behind-the-scenes content and updates on our RV resort projects, follow @GoInvestIn on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Want to dive even deeper? Visit MaverickAsherInvestments.com for resources, and tune into next Thursday for another episode. Until then, keep investing, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the road.